So the Suns are finally going to the finals after beating the Clippers in 6 games. The Clippers did not have Kawhi Leonard, and the fact that they did take them to 6 games kind of shows me that the Clippers probably would have won in either like 5 or 6, possibly 7 with Kawhi Leonard. The Suns did not have Chris Paul for the first 2 games, but that's kind of better than not having Kawhi for the whole entire series. And in my predictions, you can go back and check them. I did have the Clippers beating the Suns in the Western Conference Finals in probably maybe 6 or 7 games. But of course, I didn't know that Kawhi was going to possibly tear his ACL or that Chris Paul is going to be out with COVID protocols. But here we are. The Suns are moving on to the finals now against either the Hawks or the Bucks. They're currently in the middle of Game 5 as the Bucks just are demolishing them in the first quarter. But yeah, I mean, Chris Paul just completely stepped up in that fourth quarter. He had 41 in total, had to have 20-something in total in that fourth quarter. But yeah, he was 7 for 8 from 3, really stepped up. And Devin Booker didn't even have a really good game. He was like 1 for 7 from 3 or something. He still ended up with 22 points, being the player that he is, but he really didn't have that good of a game. Paul George was, I would say he wasn't really the Paul George we've been seeing throughout the playoffs, but he did kind of choke in that fourth quarter. He was 1 for 6 from 3 at 21 points. Marcus Morris actually led them, I think, with 26, I want to say. So the Suns were playing some pretty good defense, mainly, I think, with Mikal Bridges being on Paul George for most of the time. I want to say that D-Book might have been switched onto him a couple times, but even so, he was playing some decent defense. And Paul George, Terrence Mann, Patrick Beverley, those 3 guys were the main guys on Devin Booker for most of the time. I think that they did start the game off with Terrence Mann. And, I mean, it kind of showed. I mean, it was either that he had a bad game or the Clippers were just playing good defense. But you have these guys all focusing on Devin Booker as he's been the main highlight of the series. Here we go with Chris Paul. Just insane. I mean, he hasn't even been playing, like, too well this series. I think before this game, he shot, like, 26% from the field. But he's really stepped up this game. And as like I said, as everybody moved their focus to Devin Booker, putting Pat Bev, Terrence Mann, and Paul George, their 3 primary defenders, on him at most of the times. Here's Chris Paul dropping 41 points to move on to the finals. And of course, it's only right that he beat the Clippers to get to the finals. But yeah, the Clippers definitely have an interesting offseason. Their whole entire future as a franchise depends on what Kawhi Leonard does with this player option. I mean, hey, I'm surprised I'm not wearing Heat merch, but I would love for Kawhi to come down to South Beach. I would love it. I would personally love it. But yeah, I think that the Suns are definitely gonna. I'm never gonna say it's never going to be an easy path to the finals. But I mean, I said before that the Bucks were killing the Hawks in the first quarter. We're now fast forward to the third quarter as it's kind of getting into a close game. Bobby Portis is really stepping up right now. We're gonna get into the after the buzzer tomorrow, but yeah, whoever the Suns face in the finals, whether it's I'm guessing it's gonna be the Bucks. I also said Bucks in 6, which is still a possibility, but who knows? If it is the Hawks, the Suns would probably win, depending on Trae Young's injury. But in the end, I think that the Suns would probably win. If it is the Bucks, that would be a weird matchup because you have 2 guards in Chris Paul and Devin Booker as your 2 best players, I would confidently say. As for the Bucks, you have Chris Middleton and Giannis, who are basically your 2 forwards, who are your best players. So you have 2 guards on one team, 2 forwards on the other. I'm not really sure that's going to match up. DeAndre Ayton has really been stepping up. He had like 18 points, 16 rebounds in this past game. He's been stepping up in the playoffs. And Chris Paul has really been a guy that's helped DeAndre Ayton just take that leap that Suns fans, if there even is any, at least for the past couple seasons, have been waiting for him to have, especially since that 2017 number 1 overall, when he was taken number 1 overall in 2017. But I think in these playoffs, he's really stepped up, and I think that he would be... he may not be the perfect matchup for Giannis, but I think between guys like I think you would probably put Mikal Bridges on a guy like Chris Middleton possibly, and then you kind of double team with Jay Crowder. Well, now that I'm saying Jay Crowder, we see Jay Crowder last year versus the Bucks in the second round. Eric Spoelstra did that thing with the wall where they created that thing with Jimmy Butler, Andre Iguodala, and Jay Crowder. I think that Monty Williams could possibly do that again if the Bucks end up winning this series. But I think that they could do that with guys like Jay Crowder, DeAndre Ayton, and for some reason, Siri just turned on. But I think that they could possibly do that with guys like I said, Jay Crowder, DeAndre Ayton, even Mikal Bridges you can throw out there. Maybe even Devin Booker, honestly. I have no clue. But the Suns definitely would have a chance versus whoever they go against, whether it's the Bucks or the Hawks. But they've had a heck of a playoff run and a season. I had them being the 7th seed. They ended up being the 2 seed. I did have them actually beating the Lakers after seeing what they've done in the regular season. They ended up beating the Lakers. They ended up sweeping the Nuggets with the MVP. But I will include in this conversation how I'm not going to say it's a fluke or I'm not that type. I would never say any team's run is a fluke or that any ring doesn't matter, because all the people that say that just really don't know what they're talking about. The Suns did beat an injured Lakers team with LeBron wasn't fully healthy and Anthony Davis played maybe 2-3 games-ish. Jamal Murray, of course, was out for the whole entire series. I think that the Suns definitely could have beaten them either way. But with Jamal Murray, it would have been a much closer series, I would think. Definitely not a sweep. And with the Clippers, you literally don't even have Kawhi. You're not even going against their best player. Like, Kawhi Leonard is not even playing the whole entire series. Yet, Paul George led this team to take it to 6. Meaning that the Clippers probably would have beat them if they were fully healthy with Kawhi. The Lakers could have possibly beat them if they were fully healthy. The Nuggets possibly could have beat them if they were fully healthy. And the Clippers probably would have beat them if they were fully healthy too. Now they're going against either the Hawks or Bucks, who have their best players coming off of an injury going into the series either way. Of course, Giannis with his knee injury, he's out for Game 5. Trae Young with his ankle, he's out for Game 5. It's going to be interesting to see how it turns out in these Eastern Conference Finals. And I'm kind of paused here on 7 minutes in the third quarter. The Bucks are currently up 14 with Bobby Portis on my screen right now. But that will wrap up the video. This game could be over by the time this is uploaded onto YouTube, but we'll see how this game turns out. I think it's probably going to be the Bucks, considering that they're up 15. But that will wrap up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great day. Peace.